So Tom, let's start here. Let's go with to catch everybody up, I guess. I know of your background in the sense of what you were doing before you were trading with the full-time job, plus you were doing some sports betting and things like that. But a lot of people don't know what you were doing even before that. So you want to start there with us? Can you kind of tell us what you were doing in sports, in professional life before trading?
Yeah, so I think my background in sport is from a golf perspective. I picked up golf when I was probably about 11 or 12 and managed to get to a reasonably high amateur level. And there are just so many parallels between golf and trading. And I think the background of playing golf for 20 years has just gave me such a good foundation to move into the trading of the financial markets. And then, as you touched on, the sports markets. So yeah, my background's been golf mainly, which I've sort of given up, and then trading sports.
What do you mean by semi-professional?
So I got to a good amateur status. I would say I was trained for England, and I've county championships, course records at a couple of golf courses. So yeah, I got a reasonable background in golf.
Who pushed you to start golf so young?
So really interesting story. Nobody in my family plays golf whatsoever. But
really?
Yeah, nobody. There was a little kid moved next door at the house where I used to live, and we got talking, and we just used to play in the back garden. And the next door neighbour took me once, and then that was it. I was hooked ever since.
That is pretty amazing. So you just had a natural love for golf from the jump. When you got into golf at a young age, did you have a coach that like taught you how to play, or was it your neighbor that taught you how to play? Like, how did you actually learn?
So I've had lessons from golf pretty much from the day I started. Every Sunday we'd go down with the family and we'd have a 2-hour training session with the local pro. And really? Ever since then, even when I was at sort of my highest level, I would have lessons every other week. We'd have psychologists, we'd see coaches all throughout. And that's just something that I've done throughout my professional career at work, my 9 to 5. I've always had a mentor, and I've always known the benefits of having somebody around you that's where you want to be ultimately.
And that was why I wanted to have this episode be the first episode that we brought you on the show for, because I knew that the success you found before trading would push you to success in trading. And I was hoping that we could piece apart this formula of what is success in your perspective in today's episode for the listeners. Now, James also comes from a professional sport background. Like we'll call it professional. You call it semi-professional, but when you read off all those accolades, I'm like, dude, that's pretty freaking professional if you ask me. So I got a middle school record. We found that out last episode, right, James? I got a record at my middle school track. Tom's got course records, bro.
Reliving your heydays.
Right, literally. And Tom's out here saying he's semi-professional with course records. But with you, James, you've always been playing rugby for a long time. That was your sport. Are you similar to Tom in that your friends and family, so to speak, people around you were involved in the sport, and that was what pushed you to be there, getting coached, being like, what was your coaching experience off the jump?
Sure. So when I was young, since I was young, I've always been very sporty. So actually, I was more into triathlon and those sort of sports when I was younger. More individual sports. I actually, not to stroke my own ego, but I won world champs when I was 10 years old.
Really?
For biathlon, so it's run, swim, run. And I always used to go to extra swimming lessons, cycling lessons when I was doing triathlon, and running lessons. My dad used to coach me when I was young for my running, and I used to go to other private guys for running lessons as well. So I've always had people coaching me. You know, I don't think that you can, just do it by yourself. So it's always, I would never just go out and run by myself. My dad would always be there with, the stopwatch and running me through my, walking me through my paces.
So for both of you guys, the family push and the push from the coaches was very influential, it seems like, on the sport. Was that something, and I'll ask you, Tom, first, was that something that when you came into trading, you were like, I know I'm going to need a coach? Or was it something that kind of clicked for you later as you were struggling maybe?
No, so I've always known that I was going to get a coach. It was the first thing that I wanted to look for, because the markets are a scary place, and I suppose I was looking for somebody that had made all the mistakes that I could learn from and try to shortcut my career path and try and learn some of the good techniques that are necessary to survive in the world of financial trading, whether that's Forex or stocks or whatever that may be. So yes, I was always set out to find a good mentor.
That's interesting. What about you, James?
So for me, my path was a little bit different. So I got into trading, as we discussed on the last episode, with when I had my knee surgery.
Right.
And I've always been the guy that, like, you know, like if I see someone else doing it, I'm like, why not me? Why can't I do it? So I kind of got into it with other courses and that, but not really. I wouldn't call them really, you know, exactly mentors. More like, you know, like the common, you know, sell a course and then they kind of leave you. And then when I found you, I saw like you really like guide people more, and I realized that's what I actually need, because, you know, at the end of the day, you need someone that's done it before and is currently doing it to show you the ropes. You can't expect to do it by yourself, I don't think, in anything. And that's when it dawned on me that I've always had coaches in my life, whether it's my rugby, my cricket, my running, whatever it was. You know, you always need someone there to guide you through the steps and in how to become successful in that aspect. So I realized that a bit later on, maybe a year and a half into my trading journey, but I eventually put the two and two together.
Do you guys think that that's a big area that new traders overlook, is I need to get coached? Do you think a lot of traders come into it with a big ego and they go, I'm going to figure this out on my own?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You both are nodding your head.
Yeah.
You both are like, yes,
also,
yes.
Because
yes.
I think, you know, also I think it's also because, like, you want to be an accountant, study for 4 years, 6 years. You want to be a lawyer, study for 6 years. You want to be a trader, start today. And I think it's so, because in this modern technology world, it's so accessible that people just think it's so easy. Like, that's why I don't actually tell people what I do. If when someone asks me and I haven't met them before, when they ask me, I say, I work for an investment company in America, which I'm not lying. I work for the Silver Investment Group. It's what I do. I don't say I day trade for a living, because they're going to come with their perceptions and everything. And they think that coaching and whatever is a waste of money. I'm like, dude, you pay like, you know, $5,000 a year to go to university. Why would you not pay $500 to get a course? And it just doesn't make sense for me. So I kind of, you know, I think there's a bad stereotype around that. Maybe we can also touch on that in this, because I think there's a bad stereotype that, honestly, you know, you don't realize the full potential and value of proper coaching until you actually receive it.
Well, I think that that's a really good point too. And if you look at like my trading career, or either you guys as well, it's never been in a straight line in any direction. And anytime that we've had those bumps down, the help to get out of that bump down seems to always come from a coach, a mentor, someone that is not just caring about your outcomes, but having experience in the field of the outcome that you're trying to achieve. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you need to not, like, my point there is like, it's not just advice from your wife or your girlfriend or whoever that's going to help you out of the hard times. It's actual coaching, I think, that makes a big difference. Now, James and I started the Black Shirt Club last year in hopes that we would be able to take a small group of traders, Tom being one of them, and really take their trading to the next level. Tom's been a great example of that. Another reason why I wanted to bring him onto the podcast. He's a perfect example of it. And I can actually put a little screenshot here of Tom's equity curve before he was in the Black Shirt Club and then after joining the Black Shirt Club. Now, of course, Tom's going to say he's taken his trading more serious every day, and that's compounding on top of each other. But I think, and I want you to share like your perspective on it, Tom, I think it's the group accountability and the consistent coaching that's really led to the compounded growth that you've seen on your equity curve in the last few months. Would you agree, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to touch on. I was going to say that ASFX has got that. So where James touched on previously about people just selling you the course and then you sort of left to your own devices and you crack on and you either sink or you swim. But I feel at ASFX, there's a lot more of a community, and the fact that you've got access to coaches and not just say one or two mentors, you've probably got 4 or 5, and then you've probably got another 6, 7, 8, and 9 really good traders within the group that you can learn from. So you've got access to mentors day in, day out, and you can study them. And I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways I've found, is just understanding who is worth watching, what are they doing, and then you can ask them questions. People are so willing to help and give you advice, whether it's on connecting over Instagram, on the BIP chat, Twitter. There's a lot of really respected traders within the group that are willing to help. And I think that makes a huge difference in ASFX.
I couldn't agree more.
And that certainly
couldn't agree more. Well, and look at it, like there's people all over the world trying to learn how to trade. Between crypto and Forex, you can trade all hours of the day, every day nowadays. So I think from my perspective, when I wake up and I see at 7 a.m. my time, 6 a.m. my time, that James and Lindsay and Jerome are in there kind of leading the group chat, leading a lot of the ideas, helping the new traders, it's so refreshing to me. And then what's even cooler to see is guys like you take full initiative. I've never told you to go write up a blog post. I've never told you to do any of the things that you've now taken to the next level of sharing your trading, not for your own peace of mind. You're doing it for accountability. You're doing it for not to stroke your own ego, but just to say, this is what I know, and I know what I don't know, and I'm confident in what I know because it works. Like for me to be able to put that in you, I think is like one of the best things that I've been able to do as a coach in ASFX. And I would say James has been able to do that as well. And I think, like you said, just being able to cover each other. When I'm asleep, they're helping out. When I'm working, they're, doing other things. And that's what makes ASFX, I think, super powerful. And it is based in mentorship. It's based in the idea of together, we will go further than you would go alone. That is basically what the logo means. That's what everything is that I've always believed in, because I don't think I'm the smartest guy. I think that if I surround myself with great traders, with smart people, they'll pull me up. I always use the reference. I used it last week, I think. When I ran my fastest track race, I was running against the fastest guy I ever raced. The best people will pull you along to your best. Even if it's not as good as them, they will pull you to your best. And I think that's what mentorship is. Mentorship isn't, I'm a boss, I'm going to tell you what to do. I've never gotten on a call with anyone, and Tom will attest to this, or James, they'll both say, and I never will be like, you should do this, this, and this. This is what will make it better. I just ask questions and get people thinking, and it makes me look like a great coach. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is leadership rather than being a boss. And that's what a good mentor does too. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Because training's such a personal endeavor. You have to find something that fits your personality. So you can't push people into certain directions and say, you must do this and you must do that. Otherwise, it's not going to work. There are unlimited ways to make money out of the market. You've just got to find what works for you.
Just like in golf. Yeah, like when you started your golf training and you were there at 11, 12, 13 years old with your coaches 2-3 hours a day, not just on your swing but on the mental approach to the game. That is the same thing. They're trying to shortcut your experience and get you as close to great as they can in the shortest amount of time. What were you going to say, James?
I was going to say just one of the, so on my daily planner, daily journal, I just had one of the quotes this was on the 1st of February. So this is John Maxwell's daily planner. It says, one of the greatest lessons I've learned is that the people closest to me determine my level of success or failure. And I think that's quite a good thing to touch on, as well, as that I think one of the purposes in life in general is like, it's not winning by yourself. You want to win with people that have the like-mindedness with you. I mean, in trading, it can be such a personal endeavor, but if you're winning, Tom's winning, I'm winning, we're all winning together. Just because I'm winning doesn't mean you're losing. It's not a zero-sum game. So you can win, I can win, Tom can win. We can all win together, and we can all flip and go to Mexico. We can go play golf together in England, at St Andrews in Scotland. We can do these things together because we all come together for the, to better our lives and be better people, better traders. But I think another thing that that mentorship, especially in the trading industry, is that if you're such a good trader and you're making money from trading, why are you coaching? And I think that's quite a bad stereotype, is because, like, what I found when I started to make good money trading at the end of, during this latter half of 2020, is that I started to feel quite, down and unfulfilled. I didn't have anything to do off the desk. And that's when you, in middle of 2021, you asked me to become a coach. I was like, yeah, that's something I'd love to do, because I can, do my trading and then on the desk help people, whatever, they ask me questions, I share my ideas, share my live trades, call my live trades out. It just shows that, that you can do it. And I think that that's a bad stereotype within trading. I don't know what you guys think. It's not the greatest thing that the perception of people around that has of the coaching within trading. It's not a great, I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
I like this. I like that question. Tom, you want to take a whack at that first?
I was going to give you the honors.
I could go. I got an answer. I think the people who say things like that, I've never said anything like that. I've never once in my life said that coaching is stupid, ever. I've been impacted by coaches and teachers in such a positive way in sport, in academics, in relationships. Without teachers, we wouldn't know anything. Without coaches, we wouldn't know anything. People have bad experiences or insecurities, and either one of those projects outwardly as negativity. That negativity is what they are trying to put onto you, is their experience or their predetermined idea of what coaching could do for someone, because they haven't been positively impacted like the three of us have. So I think it comes from a perspective that is just different from where we come from. And you can't change people's perspective. You can't sit here and convince someone to see something that they don't see. So it's better to just ignore those people and focus on the people who want to be coached, focused on the people who believe the same things that you see, the same reality that you see. I've heard Grant Cardone say many times, he pays no attention to his haters. Why would I pay attention to haters? I'm trying to sell something to somebody. The quicker I figure out they're a hater, the quicker I put them on the other list, move them off the list, and then I go and look for the buyers. You know what I'm saying? So in the same sense, I would think that it's that. People project their own negative insecurities. They've had a bad experience, and then they think that you couldn't change it. They're in a fixed mindset. And we've talked about that many, many times. That's really what it is.
Yeah, and I think for me, from my perspective, it's all about trying to find fulfillment in your own life. And if you helping other people and taking them to achieve their goals and dreams provide you with fulfillment, then that's absolutely something you've got to chase yourself. But on going back to sort of the athletics and the professionals, I don't think you'd find many people at the peak of the pinnacle of their sport that would say that they have not had a coach or mentor that has not helped them. Nobody's got to the top without one.
Ever.
100%.
No. And let me say one more thing. Look at us. I didn't say this in the beginning. I probably should have. We're funded with my Forex funds. This video is not a promo for them at all. We don't do that. But just look at what small percentage of traders we are a part of. And we all believe in coaching. And we know how many people try to get to the point that we're at and can't. It's just not for everybody. So if where we're trying to go is not for everyone, this is the quote, ready? I think it said, big ideas are always crazy, but all crazy ideas are not always big, or something like that. Does that make sense? Where we want to go is so crazy, everyone's going to talk about it negatively. Everyone's going to say that that's not possible. Now that we're there, we're all funded. We can show the funding certificates. James has been funded the longest. Now that we're there, those people you think would turn their perspective and try to see it differently, but they don't. So I think, like I said a few minutes ago, just block them out. If they can't see at this point that the coaching is vital to be in that top percent, then what they're actually saying is they don't believe in themselves that they could be a part of that top percent. That's the truth. It's self-belief.
Yeah. Also think it can be kind of like an ego thing as well. Like, why would you think that you can just do, why would you think that you can just do it by yourself? Sure, you could, might take you a bit longer, or you might fail and, get kicked in the ass. I mean, it's wow, I think it can be led to an ego thing as well. Just you're willing to accept that you need help and that's what happened with me, with joining you, Austin. In the beginning, I started trading in beginning of 2019, end of 2018. And I thought, I would get into this thing, make money from the get-go and, just kill it, become a millionaire overnight. And I realized that, like, after a good year of trying, I was like, what the hell? And I started to watch your videos more. And that's when you first came out with the ASFX courses, the A1 course in mid 2019, July, August 2019. And I was like, and then I eventually joined the beginning of January 2020. But I was like, once I felt that, I felt like such a sense of relief. And like, I was actually thanking you for me purchasing your course. I mean, that's the ultimate, like, shit, that you've done something good here. You're doing something good within your business and what you're doing as a mentor.
No, very, very true. I think to the direction that most people go at first is ego driven. To what you said, maybe it is, but I think that most of us aren't even aware of the decisions we make at first. Like, I was not as mindful when I got into trading as I am today. And that awareness of my own decisions and my own thoughts and my own feelings allows me to separate from my ego and be more open-minded if I wasn't already to certain things. And I think a lot of people just lack that initial mindfulness, that initial awareness, you know what I mean? And I think you guys, I've watched you guys both push yourself in the last year, especially into that more mindfulness direction. You know what I mean? Both of you doing more for your body, more for yourself off the desk. And that again has led to it. Not, I don't even want to call it increased performance, enhanced performance. It's like it's a supercharger. But I think a lot of people don't want to go down that path at first because they subconsciously think they need the ego to succeed, which is like the opposite of what actually is there. You know what I'm saying? It's when you let go of the ego that you actually can feel and be your truest self, align with your truest self. And I would say Tom has done that most recently the best out of most of the traders that we've worked with. Tom, you've been able to do it extremely well. And I don't know if you would just accredit it to your own work ethic or you'd accredit it to good mentorship. What do you think, if you had to pinpoint one area recently, what do you think it is that's led to that supercharged success?
It's definitely, I wouldn't put it down to just one area. I think that's such a difficult thing to do. But I think, so it's two things, definitely two things for me. The first one is being willing to do what the majority aren't, in terms of doing the backtesting, collecting all of your data, and doing your markups, doing your trade reviews, doing your analysis with your journals in detail, not just sort of doing it half-heartedly, doing it properly as if it was a proper trading business. And I relate this back to my golf, in the fact that when I was playing my best golf, I would do the stuff that people really, really didn't like doing, like short game practice, so putting practice, chipping practice.
That's perfect, bro. Great example.
I would sit on the putting green and I wouldn't be allowed to leave the putting green until I hold 100 3-foot putts in a row.
Oh, so man, bro.
If I got to 99 and I missed the last one, I'd have to start again.
Oh, man, bro.
I would literally leave footprints embedded in the putting green, and the greenkeepers would go mad. And it was that's what led to the success and the skill in just practice and practice and practice. And all you're doing is just ingraining it in your muscle memory. I see in trading, that's exactly what your markups and your backtesting are, and your reviews. So I'd say that was one big factor. And then the second one is joining ASFX without being a blank canvas. The first financial markets I've ever traded with it was with ASFX. So I didn't have any of the bad habits. I've been sort of molded.
It's a really great point too.
Practicing great risk management.
You're lucky.
Following rules, having a quantified system from the get-go, and just applying what the people and the community and the mentors around me are doing and following their lead. And they are the two things that have, I think, led to the success. And over time, as with your profit and loss, their efforts compound. And I think I'm just starting to see the start of that compounding now.
It's a great answer.
Go
ahead, James.
So I was just going to say, maybe another reason why mentorship is also looked down upon or not as vital in the trading industry is maybe because people are in it for the short-term satisfaction, instant gratification, the microwave effect, as Austin likes to call it. They see, okay, you know, all these people making money are, and they think it's a get-rich-quick scheme, which definitely is not. I mean, if as soon as I hear someone telling me they made 20% in a day, I'm like, one, you're either trading small capital and you're just putting, and B, you're either flipping risking 20% to make that 20%. To make that 20%. Right. So I think like they're not willing to see it as a long-term endeavor and grow your capital and grow your skills over time. And they just want an instant gain. That's not how it works. I've had guys, some of my mates join ASFX thinking that they would become, you know, get to where I am. And I don't think I'm still improving every day, but get to where I am and, you know, trading full time in that in the space of 4 months, 3 months. It doesn't work like that. I've been doing this now. I'm going into this is 4.5 years. I'm doing it. It didn't happen overnight for me, but they don't see that work behind the scenes either. So maybe that's what also they don't think it is, because they think that everybody just makes money trading. And if, you know, why can't they just do it from the get-go?
Yeah, I think
that's so well said. Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, I think at times we probably all come into trading think that we're going to make that quick buck and we're all going to be buying Lambos
That's what I was
within the
gonna say.
first 6 months and things like that. But
And you can buy Lambos, but it takes years. You can buy Lambos. We're not saying it doesn't happen, but it doesn't take 6 months. It takes 6 years.
But don't buy the
years.
Lambo. Don't buy it. Just lease it. It's such a liability, bro. It's such a liability.
Just get it.
The car.
Just get it for the
get it on the weekend when you need it.
Yeah,
exactly, bro.
Day.
You all listening, you only want a Lamborghini because you want to take a picture with it. You don't actually want it because you want to drive it, because you hit one pothole and you need a new bumper, a new axle, a new tire. You're screwed. You're a skunk, you know?
You skunked, bro. You skunked.
Yo, it's
you're gonna have to take half your money from your trading account to flip and fund that crash.
Just to fix your tire. Right. All right, I got another good question. What do you guys think makes a great coach in anything? Don't make it trading specific. What do you think? Give me characteristics. Give me personality. What do you think makes a great coach?
They do what they say.
I'm asking this selfishly. Ooh, good one. They do what they say. Okay.
They do what they say. I think that's a big one. Just off the top of my head.
Being able to convey a message in different ways.
Oh, that's another good answer. Great answers, both of them. I would say a great coach, my answer is they care about the success of the people that they work with to the point where they want them to be more successful than they were. I think we just gave the 3 biggest characteristics that you need to have if you're going to be a really good coach. That is so well said, boys. That is like a great ending comment for us right there. So I think we can wrap up this episode of the podcast. For everybody listening and watching, if you enjoyed us bringing Tom on today, make sure you drop a comment, give us a thumbs up, share this anywhere you can, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. If you do that, whatever you got, email it to your grandma. I don't care. Just help us spread the value. And if you enjoyed Tom being on, we will definitely be bringing him back, I'm sure, to talk about more things trading, more things coaching, more things wealth building, all things that are in Tom's life. So Tom, appreciate you always, brother. Cheers to your success, to your continued success with us in the Black Shirt Club too. And James, appreciate you always, brother.
Always, brother. Much love.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Cheers.